What's up, everybody? Welcome back to JinZ channel and hello, community. Welcome back to JinZ channel, and today we're going to review my latest album, Who Killed JinZ. This JinZ is a character, not me, of course. And man, imagine my intro was like that from the start. So recently, I've been doing this kind of challenge on Newgrounds, which is January, which is a combination of Jam and January. Of course, that is pretty obvious. The premise of the challenge is that you make one song per day. So this challenge really tests your organizations of time and your stamina, your ability to make music within like hours, okay, or within one day. Okay, you gotta get that motivation, you gotta get that inspiration right within one day. But the challenge isn't really that serious. Okay, you can drop out at any time, you can join back, you can return to at any day during January. And I've seen some people kind of like post the jam. Is my voice sound? Wait, why is my voice sound so different? Am I? Oh no, I'm a grown ass adult. My voice sounds so different. Oh my god. It sounds like I have a different frequency. But anyway, back to my point being that I've seen some people post a very short loops, but hey, it's not an excuse, okay? It's just that you show your dedication to January, to the challenge as a whole, okay? So you don't miss any day. But and I can appreciate that dedication. Now let's go back to me. So I participated in this challenge for full 31 days, and I really, I'm really into this challenge for some reason. Okay, I spent most of my time during the day just to grind the hell out of this challenge because I know that 2024 will be the last year that I'm able to participate in any challenge like this. The last time I participated in this challenge, it was last year, which is last year. The struggle is that the lunar solar New Year holiday was a bit started a bit too early. I gotta return to my home to celebrate it, so I can't make music. Okay, I make music on my computer. So when I go home, I can't just bring my computer back home. So I gotta quit the challenge pretty early. This year, however, the lunar solar holiday starts a bit later, so I have more time to prepare for it. Next year, however, I'm not too sure. I haven't checked the calendar whether the lunar solar New Year holiday kind of just started early or late. But I do one thing that for certain, that I won't have as much free time as I do right now, because I will be having some I will be doing many college projects, because it's the next year will be my third year of the second semester, third year, yeah. So I will be having a lot of projects, and I will be doing some part-time jobs. So I won't have as much time as today. So I gotta utilize that this year. Okay, so I gotta put all of my energy into this one January. Now back to my album, Who Killed JinZ. Now this is an interesting one because the last time that my I mean my album actually has a story was back in 2019, which is Revolution. Man, what, that was the wackiest time of my life. And I gotta admit, okay, I gotta admit, the story of the revolution ain't even a story. It's just an like introduction of characters who happens to like meet each other, if I remember correctly. But this time it's different. This story has a build, has characters, has plot. It has everything that a story has, that a generic story has. Okay, because I've done some research on this. The first time writers phenomenon. where you just kind of self-insert yourself into the story, which is um, which happens to me and for Jaden, the character, which is yeah, literally self-insert. Okay, so this is the first chapter. There are 30 chapters to this story. This is just the prelogue. Okay, there are 30 chapters and three arcs or three. Yeah, I think three arcs. Arcs. I think that's how people call it. Um, each one has 10 chapters, by the way. So I split. On the first day, I actually don't. What happened to the picture? On the first day, I actually split. I actually don't know how this kind of story. I think I don't, I'm not too sure if I wanna go for it. You know what I mean? I'm not too sure if I wanna go all in for 31 days of 31 tracks. I'm not too sure because I'm not too confident at that time. However, I still write the main characters for the story anyway. Basically, what I mean is, I'm not too sure how long the story is gonna be, because at the time of releasing the chapter one, I I have no clues of what the plot is and what the characters are, and should I just kind of just self-focus on this character Jaden, or should I add more characters to it to add some depth? You know what I mean? Depth, 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 not depth, depth. Man, English is just such a hard language to pronounce. You know what I mean? Like DEPTF, okay, not DEATF. I mean, although spoiler alert, at the end of the story, every single character dies. So yeah, I put the title "Who Killed JinZ" as a kind of a joke to my previous breakdown in music production. You know, if you didn't know, last time on my blog, I talked about how I kind of just move a bit away from music making. Okay, in 2023. I make much less. I release much less songs. Okay, it was like a combination of like my skill realizations and me being a perfectionist. So which is ironic to at its best. So yeah, the title just kind of reference how my career has gone down. I mean, it didn't go down in terms of like viewership or subscribers or followers. It went down in terms of like well, not in terms of quality either, but in terms of the number of tracks that released, in terms of like motivations, inspirations, and like kind of just like this energy to push me forward to make music. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have as much energy that I have in 2022. So yeah, that's kind of just the whole thing about Who Killed JinZ. And of course, during the month, there were some busy days. There were some free days, like weekdays, and there was some busy day where I have to go to school, and I'm not too sure what happened to my to my calendar this semester, but there are some days that when I have to go from morning to afternoon, which is sucks to say the least. But still, I was still able to spend on average 2.5 hours on each submission. I'm not gonna lie to you, the plot of the story kind of just stand there. Uh, like the first three chapters, okay, the first three chapters are just focusing on Jaden. You know what I mean? Just Jaden, and just it's just a one paragraph long of story. Like what the hell? What the hell? Like let's check the fourth chapter. Yeah, even the fourth chapter is still Jaden. Let's check the fifth one. Okay, okay. The fifth one is when I actually kind of just figure out how where this story is gonna go. The fifth chapter is where I started to imagine what the plot of this kind of the whole story is gonna be. Okay, the who killed Chins here is not just a mental problem anymore. It's a physical problem now. I gotta think of a way to actually kill this character Jaden. I gotta think of a way. Why am I so excited of killing all the characters, man? Why am I so excited of killing my characters? And just so you know, I am not the lost cousin or the lost twin of Getch, okay? Who I am not him. I am not his lost cousin who always treat his characters as a deathbed or a punching bag. So the first four chapters are pretty useless. So you can, you could skip all four of them and still continue the story forward. All right. Now chapter six is actually interesting because it is the day when I actually map out the whole plot point, the whole story. Okay, and you if you have checked my profile and read the story, you actually you can know the plot of it. Yeah, that is the exact plot that I thought of on chapter six on the seventh day. So after the introduction of Lucas, which is his which will be Jaden's main inspiration to become better, there is an accident happens. Okay, there is an accident, and this accident will lead and this accident will somehow lead to the deaths of other how many characters do I have? That many. Yeah, that many characters. Man, how do I explain the story without spoiling it? Like I keep on talking about the last chapter of the story. Like everyone dies or this one or that one. I keep spoiling it. I can't focus on the current chapter, man. But anyway, chapter six is actually pretty important because yeah, I kind of thought of the end of the story because this one is important. This one is important for the for the plot. Okay, so yeah, chapter six kind of really important. Oh yeah, so this chapter kind of acts like a bridge that leads to the introduction of some characters in the that's related to the car accident here. So yeah, so this one is interesting, okay, because it has the character Valentine. Do you know who Valentine is based on? It's based on one of my friends. One of my Discord friends is that is Valentine. I'm not too sure if I should say his name because I know I know that I want to keep his privacy alone. Okay, I don't want to spoil his name onto my social media. But yeah, just so you know, Valentine is based on a friend of mine. So this chapter kind of acts like an introduction to the whole gang, the whole drug gang. You know what I mean? And supposedly, like, the gang is supposed to have like only three of them. Supposedly, so, okay, the gang only has three of them, and the way I approach this story on this day on back then is that what happened to the image, man? So when I thought of this, I thought that one of the three, okay, one of the a group of three, okay, one of the three who want it will be the gang leader, okay, and that gang leader happens to have his car, broken by Jaden. So yeah, it's just a group of three, and then and then some days later it's just like a group of nine, I think. So it's tripled for some reason because the story that I thought of back then was very simple. Like someday, some chapters, it's gonna be like Lucas got kidnapped by these three people, by these three men, and Jaden have to like call for help from like someone who happens to be like the former gangster, and then Jaden and that former gangster would team up and kind of just not teaming up really, but the former gangs the former gang guy will come out and defeat all of these three very easily, and then Jaden will kind of just help Lucas out of the day, kind of just help Lucas out. However, the guy who Jaden team up with just kind of failed to kill these three. So yeah, so the gang leader will rise up and kind of just hold Jaden at hostage, and then Lucas will find a way to kind of save Jaden. That's the whole plot that I thought of when I made this story. So chapter 9 kind of acts like a filler chapter. Like there's nothing special to it if you read it through thorough. Okay, there's nothing too special because I kind of just having this writer's block. For the first time, I experienced for writer's block. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I did. I did. Okay, so I kind of just make this filler chapter, and I want to make an excuse to kind of extend the story into 30 chapters somehow. Somehow, okay. I want to finish this January challenge, and yeah. So the same goes for chapter 10, a filler chapter. And this chapter will mark the end of Arc 1. I'm not too sure if I should name it the Rise of Jaden. I'm not too sure. I will be naming the arc later when I post a news on my Newgrounds profile. But this is the start of Arc 2, which is really interesting. Really interesting because I this is when I kind of just rethink about my plot and how the story is gonna have to build up to that plot. So this is the introduction to RGB, which is a gang name. I'm not too sure if there's any gang with the name RGB, but I will take it anyway. I will take it as my own. Okay, RGB TM. So at this point, I've extended the group into 9 members, and one of them is the gang leader. So it's actually just 8 members. Okay, so I thought about how should Lucas be captured or be kidnapped. So I introduced another characters, which will be known as Skyler. Okay, Skyler. So Skyler will be that like this trap girl who will lead Lucas lead Lucas into this kind of just a kidnapping. You know what I mean? So that is called all the so chapter 12 acts like a bridge that leads to this event of Lucas being captured or being kidnapped. Okay, at this point on chapter 14, I wanted to I've read some tips on how to write a good story from the start of like arc 2, and some tips told me to like add some background information for the characters before you kill them. That is just another spoiler. Fuck! And so I did add some background information to Lucas, and at this point the story gets really serious. Okay, it gets darkened. Okay, it's not as light as the first chapters. And this part will be important, by the way. He had a brother who was meant to look after him but did not. I added that to just kind of wait. There's no wait. Where's the? Oh no! I forgot. I forgot a dot. I forgot a dot. Ah! I forgot a dot for the end of the paragraph. Oh no! Back to my point. I added this kind of just a sentence just to like deepen Lucas misery as a child. You know what I mean? Like, oh come on, all of these three characters, like Jaden, four characters actually, Jaden, Lucas, Hugh, and Skylar. They are all grade 10 at the time. Okay. The chapter 15, which is halfway through. Okay. It's actually not really a filler chapter because it introduced a pretty important character, Matthew. And Matthew is surprisingly is based on another friend of mine on Discord, which I'm not too sure if I shouldn't say their name. I will keep the privacy. Okay, I will keep the privacy. Okay, and another important characters, which is Lucas' older brother, Nero. I I hadn't thought of him much. Okay, I haven't thought of him much. I assume that he was like I thought of him as like a this filler characters who acted like characters who just kind of just remind Jaden that Lucas is going mixing. Okay, Lucas is going mixing. So yeah, but I named him very early on because I thought he could like be useful in terms of like calling the police, calling the authority, or he could be used as some help like transportation or something, or adding some information about Lucas. He acts like literally a background character. So this one is interesting. Okay, this one is pretty interesting. I wanted to give Jaden a chance to like be become braver. Okay, by giving him a chance to kind of just check out his friend Lucas, because at this point at this point no one knew except for Skylar. No one knew that Lucas was kidnapped. Okay, so Jaden thought that Lucas was like having a sick day, and maybe he had like a headache that made him passed out during on the road, and Jaden was concerned. Jaden was concerned, so he went. He checked the location and he went for it. Originally, I thought this story would went the same way that I thought when I think of the story when I you know yeah, this one like Jaden would call for help. Okay, Jaden would call Nero to like call the police as he going on the road after finding out that Lucas was actually kidnapped. But that didn't really happen. That didn't really happen because I want like this. If this is only chapter 17, we haven't reached chapter 30 yet. So I want to pause this a little bit. I want to halt a little bit. So I decided to let Jaden go home. And there are a lot of a lot of nuance in this chapter too. Like Jaden knew who Valentine is, but he couldn't put his mind into the problem because come on, a child of grade 10 thinking about this whole kidnapping and criminal stuff. Come on, man, we don't have a mind for that. We didn't have it. So at the end of the day, he kind of just wanted to forget everything and kind of just like be a bit of a narcissist and kind of forget Lucas and kind of just not care about Lucas anymore. So he wanted to focus on this art contest that he had to compete with Matthew. 18th chapter, I had another thought. Okay, I haven't. I'm not too sure that if my initial plan for the plot is going to work as a 30 chapter story. I'm not too sure if this is gonna work. Okay, so I changed the plan. I changed the plan and switched to both Lucas and Jaden were kidnapped, which is what happened here. And it turns out that Lucas has already been killed the day before. I mean, the day before, which is the same day that Jaden was looking for Lucas. So yeah, very interesting. I introduced this character Reed, who is the gang leader, and he will always do things with hatred. You know what I mean? Although he works as a entrepreneur, deep inside him, he has anger issue. Another reason why I want to have these two characters being kidnapped instead of one is that I want to give some light to Hugh. You know what I mean? Like Hugh have been like this very vague character, so I want to give some information and some depth to him as a character, and that is exactly what happened in chapter 19. In chapter 19, Hugh find out that both Jaden and Lucas were kidnapped, so he called Nero for help. And this one is important. Chapter 19 is important one. Okay, it's like a pre-drop to the drop. Okay, like in music, there's a pre-drop. Okay, this acts like that. Yeah, a pre-drop. So Hugh, after finding out that both his friends or friend and his friend of friends has been kidnapped by a random group of strangers, he called for his friends of friends, brothers, friends of brother, Jaden, Lucas, Nero. You get the idea. Lucas is not Hugh's friend, okay? Hugh doesn't really know. Yeah. Hugh doesn't really know Lucas as a person as a whole. So if you remember, I said that Nero will be acting like a background characters who will help Jaden call the authority, who will help him with transportation. Well, I switch things up. I combine that Nero and the former gangster that I had in chapter 8. I combined those two ideas, and came Nero, who just said that he was like formerly a gangster, a gang leader, who was formerly a gang leader, and this and Nero and Reese happens to be opponents of each other. Okay, so Nero was kind of just interested in investigating this thing. So Nero is really interested in teaming up with Hugh to save his brother and catch revenge his brother. Yeah, there's no saving for Lucas anymore. And I also add some information to Hugh as well, which is him being a boxer whose inspiration was Muhammad Ali. And chapter 20, the end of arc 2, is pretty explanatory. Okay, Nero and Hugh teaming up and defeat all the members of the RGB, and then at the end, Reese kind of just come up to them and just kind of use the cheat code, which is pew pew, and just kind of pew pew, Nero on his shoulder, which magically didn't kill him. Hadn't killed him. Like Nero is a strong guy, I would say. Okay, he is really strong. Okay, like at one point he killed a guy with one single punch, or I don't know how you would describe this action, but yeah, he choked that person to death with this one. Let's just imagine the strength of Nero. Okay, and at the end of the day, Nero, after being shot at the shoulder, rise up and took the knife of one of the gang member and kind of just freeze. Okay, and at this point, I would like to add this one to the story because this one is interesting. Hugh see that Reese was being is dying. Okay, so he's dying. So Hugh see that Reese was holding this pew pew on his hand, afraiding that Reese would shoot more. You wouldn't know what would happen when someone is being dead. Okay, is being like is at the last moment of their life. You wouldn't know what they would do. Okay, they would shoot the ceiling, shoot anywhere, and more importantly, maybe he will shoot the kids. So Hugh have to go out, have to go all out, and end Reese at that moment. And welcome to the first chapter of Arc 3. Do you know what characters have we been mixing and not talked about? That's right, Skylar. And that's why I brought her back at the start of Arc 3. So Skylar is a pretty interesting character because she is a homeless child who whoever treats her like a family member or whoever feed her foods, she will do anything for them, like literally anything, like fooling someone to being kidnapped, or she will do anything for the person who feed her. Okay, but now that Reese is dead, she has nowhere to go. So at the end of the day, she wants Jaden to, took her home and have, you know, there's a deal between Skylar and Jaden. Okay, both of them know exactly how this whole incident happens and why it's been led to this time. Okay, so Jaden and Skylar kind of just agree upon the terms of Jaden, helping Skylar not being homeless. And chapter 22 is a pretty unique one because I kind of just switch up my storytelling style. Instead of just saying what happened and what and who said what, it's a conversation between these two. And the reason why I wanna go for this conversation instead of storytelling is that there are a lot of things I want to address in like conversation style. You know what I mean? And there are some information. There are some important information like the introduction of Zack being like Zack, Reese, and Nero being formerly being friends and all that. So chapter 23 is actually a family union. So oh yeah, this is the front page by the way. And one thing that I forgot to tell you guys is that Skylar's real name is actually Iris. Okay, Iris. And at this point, you might have thought, you might have known the patterns the pattern of names, that the name patterns that I'm going for here, right? Jaden, Iris, Nero, Zack. Does those four names remind you of anything? Yeah, you get it. And the title of this track is really, really unique. Why? Because it's a reference to the court of the Crimson King. And if you listen to the song, there is actually a bit of the court of the Crimson King somewhere around here. It's a reference only. Okay, it's a reference. And the reason why I named this the court is because Jaden it doesn't really go to court really, but he has the mental court where he judged by himself on himself that he's being guilty of killing his friend Lucas. Chapter 24 is like just basically the fault of social media, of news and internet really. And chapter 25 acts like a bridge. Okay, it's a bridge that leads to bigger events. It's not really a filler arc because it has this really important information of Jaden and Matthew being friends together. Okay, so they know each other. They have each other contacts. Now, chapter 26 is a introduction to this character Zack, who isn't really Zack. He went by many names, and Zack just happens to be one. And Zack is currently Zack. Man, don't scare me like that, Yuyuko. Anyway, Zack or currently known as Zack, is on his way exploring the places, the information. He knows everything. Okay, he's a professional on his field, on this doxing field. Okay, he knows everyone, everything. So he's going for this plan of like, of like gaslighting everyone. You know what I mean? Like he is a criminal, but at the end of the day, if the police actually investigate, if the police would not suspect him of being of an actual criminal. He has a plan. He had a plan, a very very great plan of escape from this crime act, and he will like put his fault onto others. For example, Lucas' parents or Valentine's wife, who is introduced in the next chapter, by the way, which is Gianella. Yeah. Now this Gianella character is I'm not too sure if she's if I should call her idiotic, because come on man, marrying a drug addict, if that isn't really if that's not idiotic enough, then I don't know how to call her. I don't know how would you call Gianella, okay? But at the end of the day, I wouldn't call her idiotic. I would call her greedy. Okay, perhaps this character Valentine used to be very very rich, so that's why she married him. So knowing that she is greedy, Zack kind of just you know, or how should I say this? Oh, Cody, yeah, Cody, he who known as Cody. He who known as Gold, kind of just manipulate Gianella throughout the series, and then the day after, something really really tragic happens. Okay, after being manipulated by Cody, Gianella just mistakenly, okay, killed someone, which happens to be Hugh. I don't need to explain anything further than that, because everything has been told in within the chapter. So check it out if you want to. But basically, this chapter goes to show how calculating Cody is. Okay, like if, for example, this part like here she must arrive to that address that Cody gave her within 12 minutes. So yeah, it really shows you how precise Cody is. Okay, and he really planned this accident. Okay, Cody planned this accident. So yeah, he went after Hugh, being his first victim. So yeah, he's going for Jaden and Iris next. And this is when the news really really pops up. Okay, and Jaden was devastated. Everyone was devastated. Like the most devastated one would be Hugh's mom, who is a lawyer. Okay, so as a lawyer, she must go down to this to this crime act. Okay, she must find the culprit, the criminal. And to Whitney's surprise, the accident kind of linked with the children kidnapping event. Okay, because the car that Gianella was using used to belong to Reese. So she really really investigated into this kind of whole situation, but she needed more information. So, but she needed more facts. Okay, so she seeks for the for the two people who know this, who knew the children kidnapping incident the most, which is Shaden and Iris. And chapter 29, the end of the show. The story is the chapter is very self-explanatory. Why Matthew is important, why Cody wants Gianella to kill as quickly as possible, why Whitney has been following Gianella, why everything. Yeah, the chapter is very very self-explanatory, so I don't need to say anything more. Also, I might want to add this to the logic, by the way. But why Whitney would leave her, would park her bike and just ran after Daniel? Yeah, Daniel. Would ran after Daniel on feet, because in Whitney's mind, catching someone would be better off. You just, it's better to catch someone on foot. You know what I mean? Like if you were to catch someone on bike, how would you tell them to stop? Crash them? No, you would be you would be judged. You would be sentenced to sometimes on in prison. So yeah, Whitney wouldn't want to be there. So she went after Daniel on foot instead of bike. And the last chapter, One with the Flame. Very, very self-explanatory. I mean, at this point, my writing skill had improved a lot. So I kind of explain over some details that must be addressed at some part, right? So yeah, so it turns out Phillips is the main character, is the main antagonist who known as Zach, Tyron, Cody, and Daniel. So yeah, so he was caught and sentenced to life in prison, and Janela died from the car accident, collision with Whitney's bike. Yes, and very very luckily, Jaden survived the accident. Jaden survived, but he had a brain injury, so he forgot everything. The last thing that he remembered was the explosion, and this explosion will be very very important later on, because it would mark the very thing that he remembered the best in his mind. So he always think that this explosion is very very the most beautiful thing that he had ever witnessed. In Jaden's mind, it was the most beautiful thing he ever witnessed. And at that point, he really really loved fires. He loved playing with fire. And the rest of the story, yep, it's self-explanatory. Self-explanatory. The last chapter really really tied the story together. So yeah, that is my 31 track album, Who Killed JinZ. If you have any more questions, you can leave a comment down below. Okay, so yeah, I will answer any of your questions regarding the lore or the story or the characters. Okay, so yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye bye.